Hello and welcome to the Liz Experiment YouTube channel. I'm your host, Liz, better known as the Liz and the Liz Experiment, and this is the channel where I record field notes from my journey towards architecting my best life. This week I am back in, or still in, Fremont Center, New York, my hometown. I'm here hunkering down with my family during the coronavirus pandemic. So I guess the things I'm doing are social distancing, doing a lot of going inward, and really just like pretty much everybody out there hanging in there as best I can. This week this week may seem a little like a Debbie Downer of an episode, but it's not meant to be. I'm going to be talking about a rough week that I've had. I think a lot of us have had a rough week. Really, then what I was doing in regards to thinking about that discomfort that I've been feeling, and also thinking about how to progress with my goals throughout this pandemic. So, with all that, let's just jump right into it.
Life's a foolish game. Do you ever feel the same? Well, maybe we could change. Turn the ship another way.
Okay, so I mentioned that I had a bit of a hard week. I'm actually having a bit of a very hard time. I think, like I said, like I think many people are. And I say that I just want to say I say that with the complete knowledge of the privilege that I have, that I'm able to. Um, there are people who are going through challenges that are way more intense than mine, and I recognize that. I honor that. Like I just want to say that from the bottom of my heart. So everything I'm about to talk about in regards to my own perspectives, I recognize they're nothing in comparison to others, and I think we're all kind of recognizing that at this time. You know, it's like I talked with my friends yesterday. One of whom is a nurse practitioner in and around New York City area, and she's just cries every time she has to go into work, kind of thing, because they have to make choices to potentially that could potentially endanger the people that she's caring for, and that's very hard on her and it's very stressful. And so, you know, there's that perspective, and then there's the perspective of the people who are working check to check or living check to check and working week to week and can't move back to Fremont Center, New York, and have family to feed. So there's so many people who are sick, all those things. Okay, you get it. Point of the story is, what did I learn this week, and what did I work on this week? So I have two bullet points here in my notes on the things that I learned this week. I would say the first thing I was going to talk about was this idea of writing or thinking about my goals in life from a place of abundance versus a place of scarcity. So I've been listening to this podcast, and I'll provide a link down below in the comments area or in the about area, whatever that area is called. I never get it right, y'all. Sorry. But anywho's, it's a podcast called the Life Coach Podcast, I think. But she does a really great job, and I've linked to her before. But in this particular episode, she's talking about how when she works with her clients, she talks to them about setting goals, and what she comments on is that so many of us set goals or make plans or think of ideas from a place of scarcity. And I know so many of us are in a place of scarcity right now, especially. But what she recommends is doing so from a place of abundance. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. But the reason I think her words came through so strong for me this week is because the other part of what I learned this week is and I've talked about this before. I'll provide a link to the videos in which I've talked about this before down below as well. But I'm recognizing my immediate need to really become BFF with my discomfort. And so those are the two main lessons. And again, I think they're related. So how did I work on them? How did I go about going through this, through the process of working on them? For the I'm trying to think. I want to talk about the abundance stuff first, but then I'm like, Liz, it's kind of weird, you know. But on the real, so one of the things I started to do this week was allow myself to start dreaming, like really just dreaming about what it is I want, not just from a place of like I want to not live with my parents, or I want people to not be sick, or I want to protect those around me, or whatever. I want my business to be super successful because I want to feel independent again. But really dreaming from a place of what do I really, really, really want in life, and what fuels me and feeds me. And we've talked about that, I think, a little bit. But that type of thinking helped me to recognize that, you know what, Liz, you really don't know yet what you want, and you don't really have a plan. Um, and much of that stems from the fact that I'm doing things in life to numb the discomfort around me. That was a long way to say it, but it's true. And my friends especially my dear friend, who talks about this stuff a lot in his own life, has told me this a lot before. But being back in my parents' home, being in a rough economy for everybody, being in a place where I literally I can't travel, I can't. None of us can do these things, but you get it. I can't numb it. I can't numb the fact that I really have no effing idea what I want to do with my life. Or that's not true. That's not true. I do know what I want to do with my life, but I haven't dreamt big enough to put a plan into action, I guess. And a lot of that has to do with this week I had some less than stellar meetings. Like I said, I'm back in my parents' house. I don't know where either of those things are going, where my life is going, where my business is going. My business is in a much better position, but it's more my perspective of it versus that my actual business. um, so what do I mean by that? What do I mean by sitting with the discomfort? I A great example is after a less than stellar meeting that I talked about. I felt really uncomfortable all weekend. I think I've maybe gotten I'm recording this on Sunday morning. I think this weekend I've maybe gotten like 2 hours sleep. I'm just tossing and turning. And what I would normally do, and what I have been doing, is I would find a way to distract myself from that really gross, like, what the hell is wrong with me? How did I screw that up? What was I thinking? What was I doing? I'm not saying you should negative self-talk yourself, but instead of really investigating, hey, wait a minute, this is negative self-talk. What am I really feeling? And letting myself feel it, and then continue to peel back on feeling it. Like, ooh, that feels bad. Maybe I should think about something else. Instead of thinking about something else, I just stay there with the feeling bad, and then I continue to uncover feeling bad until I get to a point where I have to really get to the core of what I have done to create the feeling that I'm feeling. And then I have to take responsibility for it. And this is a lifelong process, like I've mentioned the Bruce Lee podcast on this on the channel before, but I have a quote here in my notes that I'm going to read for you guys, because as I was thinking about all of this process, I then listened to the Bruce Lee episode, podcast episode number 17 on willpower. And again, I'll put a link down below. And in it, they have one of his quotes, which is, "The enemy of development is pain phobia. The unwillingness to do a tiny bit of suffering. As you feel unpleasant, you interrupt the continuum of awareness, and you become phobic, and this weakens the heart of will." So we feel uncomfortable. We have a bad meeting. We don't know what to do about our work. We don't know what to do about our life. And instead of letting ourselves feel that, we push it away and we numb it. We numb it with material goods. We numb it with alcohol, with drugs, with sex, what, if you're lucky, what have you. But all it really takes in order to overcome that discomfort is to sit with it. And as I talked with my friends about this more and how I'm thinking about it, I recognized how, not that I've been living my life completely wrong, but so much of what I do because it feels like a good idea. Like, oh, that might feel fun. Traveling the world and working remotely, that's going to be great. Meeting people and understanding more about their cultures, that's going to be really, really fun. And what he said to me is, now that I'm having these deeper level awareness around discomfort and sitting with mine and really, really just being alone in a room and feeling like, oh, this is a lot of suffering. What he The next step he kind of recommended, and I'm going to read it because it was so well said. He said, I would argue that you should begin to stop making decisions emotionally based and more cognitively focused. It's your, meaning my, natural mode of operation to feel each thing out. And that has led you on the path and the destination where I'm at now, which right now, another part of my hard week is that I'm back in my freaking childhood room, yo. Like, all of this work, I feel like I'm working my ass off on my business and on my life and on my YouTube and all these things. And for what? I'm back in the same exact place. Um, Again, I think that's a lot of self talk. I don't think that's necessarily that I haven't done a lot. It's more, those are the feelings I'm feeling and I want and need to feel them now. And so going forward, as I begin to want and feel those things, get to the core of them, um, I want to start making my decisions, even small ones, from this place of, um, wow, that feels really scary. And I'm talking really scary now, not like kind of scary, like when you're getting on the Ferris wheel, which is scary, but you know what I'm saying. But this feels really gross and scary, but not dangerous. So I should go towards it. And I'm gonna, it's almost like rewiring my complete way of thinking and making decisions, redesigning the core of my being again. So choosing not just what feels good, oh, that would be a good idea, but oh, that actually feels gross, but I think at the end of that, I might become a better person. And so I'm going to go that route. In conjunction with thinking about my future and what I want from a place of abundance. So that was a lot, but it was a big week. Next week I will be back in Fremont. We're not going anywhere anytime soon, right, y'all? But hopefully I want to dive more into this just thinking. I don't want to say hopefully. I want to dive more into this thinking. I will dive more into this thinking. I got nowhere else to go. I got nothing else to do. You know what I mean? Uh, um, yeah, so I mentioned next week I will be still here in Fremont Center, New York. I want to thank Hans Adam featuring Snowflake for the music they allow me to use in the intro and outro. If you liked this video, please let me know. I know it's just a click of a thumbs up, but it really, really helps. And if you didn't like it, click the thumbs down. That helps as well. But what helps even more is if you leave a comment about why you liked it or didn't like it. And most importantly, if you have something to add about facing discomfort or abundance, goal setting, or anything that I talked about today, or even just shooting the shit about coronavirus, please leave a comment down below. If you want to get these videos every week, if you want to be alerted to them, be sure to hit the subscribe button. And until next week, y'all, thanks for watching.